getting us since we on the Pop Girly situation on Netflix. Let's talk about Kylie Minogue. So Kylie Minogue's docu-series is officially out on Netflix. I did not get around to watching it yet because I just didn't get around to watching it. I'm going to get around to watching it hopefully tonight. I know they just dropped the boys finale last night. I've been avoiding spoilers. There's just been a lot of stuff I've been trying to catch up on. So hopefully I'll get around to watching it today. If not, I'm going to try to get around to it this weekend. But one of the revelations, she revealed a lot from what I heard, but and I've been avoiding like all the juicy tea, and because I want to actually just be in the moment of it. But she did reveal that she secretly was battling cancer, which I gagged over. I'm like, ma'am, I mean, she really now talk about somebody who know how to keep a secret and nobody be knowing stuff. This lady is immensely private. And that's what I say about a lot of you big time celebrities. If you really want to be incognito or hide what's going on with you and your personal life, there are ways of doing it. Hit up Kylie Minogue in the DM. How you be hiding your shit? Hit up Beyonce. She may not answer, but hit her up anyway. and ask her, how do you keep your teeth so close to the vest and nobody knows what's going on in your situation? Like, it's just heavily guarded, like Fort Knox. So, yeah, she said in 2021, she was diagnosed with cancer for the second time after having a successful treatment and battle with breast cancer back in 2005. So in the new docuseries about Kylie Minogue, the pop star revealed that she had faced a cancer scare that the media covered heavily 2 decades ago. She privately faced a second diagnosis in 2021 and got through it again. She said, thankfully, I got through it again and all is well, she said in the film, according to the BBC. Hey, who knows what's around the corner, but pop music nurtures me. My passion for music is greater than ever. The 3-part docuseries Kylie is available now on Netflix. So now in May of 2005, Netflix announced that, Minogue announced she had been diagnosed with the early stages of breast cancer, forcing her to cancel tour dates. Hopefully all will work out fine, and I'll be back with you again soon, she said at the time. Now, later that month, news broke that she was recovering from surgery and that her doctor had deemed the operation a success. It is not known if her second bout of cancer was also breast cancer. Now, in the docuseries, Kylie Minogue said she had a hard time deciding when was the right time to talk about her second diagnosis, even as she did press for her 2023 album Tension. I don't even think she spoke about it during that era, so she kept it to herself. Because I don't feel obligated to tell the world, and I actually just couldn't at the time because I was just a shell of a person. That's what she said in the docuseries, according to the BBC. I didn't want to leave the house again at one point. The Tension single, Padam Padam, opened so many doors to me, but on the inside, I knew that cancer wasn't just a blip in my life, she continued. And I really just want to say what happened so I can let go of it. I'd sit through interviews and every opportunity I thought now's the time, but I kept it to myself. Well, it's funny how when you know, you know. And clearly the time that you felt the need to tell it was during this docuseries, because this is, in my opinion, from what I've been hearing, the most personal we've ever seen Kylie be. Whenever we see Kylie in interviews, she's always happy, chipper, Miss Happy-Go-Lucky, very energetic, very personable. And she's always seemed like the type of girl that you would just want to go hang out with, be it at a bar, a lounge, a club, down at the beach. Like, she just looks like a fun time. And a lot of times we get so caught up in stuff, we don't always ask people like her or just people in general, how are you doing? And to me, she always seems like this type of woman that she would be the strong friend. And that's why I always say, like, instead of always checking on your friends that be going through shit all the damn time and be driving you crazy with all their issues and woes, we got to check on the strong people too. Because we spend a lot, and yes, I'm including myself in it because I consider myself the strong friend in my groups of friends. There are times when it's like, yeah, I'm absorbing, I'm taking in, I'm trying to always be the helper to other people. And then there be times I'll be going through shit, and yeah, a lot of times, I guess me being a Virgo, we don't want to be a burden. We don't like shouting our stuff at the rooftops. We always we internalize everything. We try to handle our stuff on our own. And it's just that And when we ask for help, it's like, I don't want to have to deal with the rejection. I don't, and then, or the type of help that you're trying to give me, it's not like you giving me what it is that I'm asking for. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. So it's kind of like in one of those things. I know it's a big old mind fuck, but it's just the way our brains operate. Sorry, but it is. So, and then she said that in 2013, she told Rolling Stone she hoped her story of surviving cancer would offer hope to those struggling with cancer, saying, I realized in my story there was a lot of courage and from the people around me as well. My parents, my brother, my sister. I didn't know she had a brother, and the rest of my family, because we always know about Danny. Um, the rest of my family, friends, and for myself, of course. At the time, she was accepting a Courage Award at the event benefiting EIF's Women's Cancer Research Fund, saying she's very honored to be presented with the award, blah, blah, so on and so forth. So that's one aspect of it. I'm glad that she was able to work out her situation with her cancer. But sis, I was gonna say you don't have to work it out alone, but I'm sure she wasn't alone. She had her family, she had her close friends who were probably helping her out. But I'm glad to see that she's in great spirits because not only does her disco need her, but the Kylie Minogue fans needs her as well. So now, speaking of Kylie, let's get into this story regarding her in the Impossible Princess era. So I know she hasn't been able to live down the whole Impossible Princess era. One of the things I will say that I love about Kylie, and especially, the pop girlies like her, is that they swing for the fences. It's like, I'm not just going to keep giving y'all the same old Stock Aitken Waterman type tracks over and over and over again. And I think that's when Impossible Princess was born, around that time, if I'm not mistaken. That was like she was trying to get out of that whole Stock Aitken Waterman type of sound, and we live for that sound because they bore a lot of people, like Rick Astley and so many other people. I even think that didn't Divine do a song with Stock Aitken Waterman? You think you a man, but you're only a boy. You think you're a man, you are only a toy. You think you're a man, you are only can see. You're not man enough to satisfy me. Anyway, I think that was a Stock Aitken Waterman production too. But in addition to all of that, I like the fact that she took a swing for the fences. She decided to do something different, and she went and did Impossible Princess. Now I understand it was a little too indie for people to get in because they wanted those poppy, those little pop songs or whatever. And she talked about it with attitude. So shout out to, I wish I had the clip of that because the attitude had it on their page, but I'll just read it. So after 40 years in show business, 2 Grammys and 80 million records sold, Kylie Minogue perhaps said it best in the title of her 1987 breakthrough hit, I Should Be So Lucky. Now, Kylie has hinted at a return to elements of Impossible Princess, her most controversial and fascinating era, known for its experimental sound and aesthetics. She said, I liked her energy, the star told Attitude last week, responding to the indie Kylie version of her the indie Kylie version of her, who appeared on our cover in 1997. Things from that time I like to somehow incorporate into now. The pop icon who recently confirmed, I feel like I'm about to skip over that. They're about to reveal the thing about the Madonna, but we're just going to skip over that because we'll get to that in a second. The star reveals in her new Netflix documentary series Kylie Out today that she underwent treatment for the second time. Okay, we just did that with the cancer. She said that experimental. I don't think I've ever not been experimental, but to that degree, she further said while reflecting on Impossible Princess, I was going for it. Which is what I said. She swung for the fences. An Impossible Princess sequel is now perhaps not out of the question. Now, she also told about Rick Baker, who was someone who she worked very closely with during the Fever era. And I think that the Fever tour, that's why a lot of people love that Fever tour era, because Rick Baker, a homosexual who I believe worked at the Vivienne Westwood store in London, that's where they met. And she was like, he came up to her and was like, I want to work with you. I want to style you and all this other stuff. And he was very much a big collaborator and influential with her during that whole time. And so she said, we created, in regards to my Rick Baker, her creative director, she said, we created Fever together. Iconic moments I can't imagine happening any other way. And then she said regarding like meeting him in the 90s, she said, these were the days where you'd say, let's go get a coffee. And the rest, as they say, is history. I truly trundled in on my own. The folly of youth or the gumption or whatever it was, he came up to me and said how much he liked to style me. So One of the things I always loved about Kylie is that how she's always not been afraid to experiment with her sound and all other stuff. Because I feel like her most underrated records, in my opinion, where she was like experimenting, but she stayed within the pocket of like pop music, whatever. I would say it would be Body Language and X. But it feels like the fans really always wanted more of like the catchier, poppier, the fun album era, which would be like Fever, Aphrodite, and Tension. Because those were like the eras where you saw like she would hit through the stratosphere. She was always taking like experiments, and she was always experimenting in the eras of like Body Language and X, which I definitely love those albums. I like those albums more. I like her more popular stuff, and I think it's because like just swinging for the fences and trying something different. I always like when artists do that versus doing a safer. Oh, I just got to put out a record that's just going to satisfy the masses and just be fun, and I just go up there and just make a whole lot of money on these tours or whatever the case is, and I get all the awards. So I definitely feel like she could revisit the Impossible Princess Indie Kylie era if she wants to incorporate that and like kind of juxtapose it with the more current music she's doing, but just take experiments how like the songwriting approach, the way she sings the songs, and even on the production. So I definitely feel she could do that. Or as she said before, she has a 40th anniversary tour that she's going to kick off in 2027 to commemorate the 40 years she's been a pop star. Because her career kicked off in 1987. So that's 40 years. That's the perfect time to do a tour a la similar to Madonna. And that's the approach that I feel like she should take. And then she can bring in those Impossible Princess deep cuts. Do like one little Indie Kylie segment and just remix the songs. Kind of like how Lady Gaga reworked a lot of the Mayhem songs for that Mayhem Requiem thing that she just did for Apple. So there's always ways that you can work around being very creative in regards of the type of music and stuff that you do. Now, last but certainly not least, since we already talked about Madonna and using it as a reference, let's get into her and Miss Kylie Minogue. Because Madonna and Kylie, there's been a rumor that's been floating around online that Madonna and Kylie have collaborated on a song together for Confessions 2. From what I'm hearing, based off of some of the rumors of people who actually heard the record, they said that her voice sounds very familiar and some of the hints. Some people believe that it might be Shakira that's actually got a duet with Madonna on the record. We'll just have to see when it comes out. But in the meantime, according to Kylie, Kylie says that she is not, unfortunately, have a song with the Queen of Pop on the upcoming album. So speaking to the Los Angeles Times about her new Netflix documentary, she said, "That's a random thing. There was a rumor I was on her album, but I'm not. I'm excited to hear it all." She did confirm that she is making new music and basically talked about the new song called Light Up that lives perfectly within the documentary. And she said it's not a padam, but it's got a lot of heart. Well, look, I hate the fact that she had to say it like that because now it's like this expectation that, oh, I have to give y'all like that big hit. It's like, no, it's just a song that I did that fits within the context of the Netflix docuseries. Whether or not it charts, that's whatever. But yeah, it's not gonna be like Padam, and I don't expect everything to be Padam. Like I've been following her career long before she did Padam. I told you, I've been following Kylie since the Stock Aitken Waterman days. So you know how we homosexuals do. And the fact of the matter, speaking of which, one of the things I didn't like and I was hearing about was the fact that her team lied to her and said she didn't have an American audience, that she didn't have a large amount of American fans. And it's like, whoever told you that, I hope they're all unemployed because Madonna, Kylie has a huge fan base here. One of the things I regret in this whole situation is that I took a certain somebody who y'all know that I used to do a podcast with to that show to see Kylie's on the For Me For You tour. Bought the ticket and everything. We both went. Didn't seem like he appreciated it. That was another reason that he and I are no longer, but y'all know who it is. I can put it in the chat. Those who know, the deep dive shade with the beefs that I've had with certain other conglomerates. But what I should have did was took my friend DJ Tennessee, because if anybody's a harder, bigger fan of Kylie, and who introduced me to Kylie, actually, it was him. I should have took my friend DJ, the other DJ, the friend that I have, DJ Tennessee. That's who I should have took. But I haven't heard the song yet. I know that it's online or whatever the case is. I would like to hear it, but I haven't heard it yet. So I want to see what else does she have to say. Well, she's talking about like the behind the scenes of the song and what was the inspiration. But and then they said that year prior, Minogue joked about the overwhelming power she and Madonna would have if they were to share a stage together. She's going on tour. I don't have Madonna's number, but if I was in town and she was in town, it would be amazing. She told 1035 KTU. The building would probably fall down. We need to send out warnings. I mean, that is true. So, and this is when they're talking about in 2024, they appeared together at the Kia Forum in LA during her celebration tour, and where they performed duets of Can't Get You Out of My Head and I Will Survive for International Women's Day. But look, before any one of y'all kick the bucket or before we leave this earth, can y'all please do a song together? Like, I get it's cute or whatever that Madonna wants to do a collaboration with Sabrina and pass the torch, and you try passing that off to Britney, and Britney mind went bad. So we know you try to pass on the torch to these young girls, but we want the queen of pop and the princess of pop, because it ain't Britney no more. Britney retired. So Kylie came up in the 80s, shortly after Madonna, because Madonna came out early 80s. Kylie came out late 80s. So I'm not saying you need to pass the torch up, because y'all kind of got similarities in y'all stage presence and type of the music that y'all do, which are vastly different. Like, Kylie is more camp with her stuff and doesn't take herself too seriously. Madonna's like that blue collar, hardcore, like real artist. Like, there's a juxtaposition of like artistry, like she incorporates art into a lot of the pop stuff and bringing a lot of the underground things that she's inspired by and bringing it into the mainstream. So it's like watching visual art. Because she's like in that way. She's a pop star, but also a visual artist. And we would love to have y'all do a song together, or I would even say a joint tour, but that's gonna be too much. It had to be a festival, because between the both of y'all got too many damn songs. So yeah. So I guess maybe they can give us like a little Pride special, like y'all two come together and do Pride somewhere. They definitely blow the roof. The gays would go ape shit. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding, Kylie beating her cancer a second time? What her thoughts were on the Impossible Princess in the Kylie era, and the fact that, yes, we're not getting a collab between the Queen of Pop and the international princess of pop. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.